In the wake of Joe Biden's recent cancer diagnosis, the press, the mainstream media, and the Democrats are trying to lionize him as some kind of great American president or hero. I say, bull crap. Here are just a few of the Biden administration's terrible scandals. And if you can figure out a few that I might have missed out on, please leave a comment below. First scandal. His daughter wrote in her diary that she took showers with dad, probably not appropriate, in the same paragraph in which she had said, "Was I molested? I think so." Second scandal. Florida woman sentenced to a month in prison for theft of Ashley Biden's diary. Joe Biden sent the FBI and the Justice Department after this poor woman who had found the diary and had her charged with crossing state lines with over $40,000 of stolen property. Have you guys ever heard of anyone being charged for stealing a diary? Third scandal. Biden colluded with media to hide and censor news of the various scandals, and they are largely successful. Fourth scandal. Leaving new equipment worth tens of millions of dollars behind in Afghanistan for the Taliban. Fifth scandal. Biden left an American named Gonzalo Lira to languish and die in a Ukrainian jail cell. What was Lira's crime? Speaking out against Biden and the Zelensky regimes. He knew they were going to kill him. He told us so. He made videos talking about the Ukrainians, wanting him dead. He got locked up. He ended up dead 2 months later. Joe Biden could have gotten him out of jail, but he refused to help. Sixth scandal. Biden helped squelch a nascent peace deal early on in the war between Ukraine and Russia, preferring to send just enough weapons to kill as many people as possible. A revenge of sorts against the Russians for their alleged interference in our 2016 election. The seventh scandal, the alleged assault of Tara Reade. It shattered my life. Former Joe Biden staffer Tara Reade says he sexually assaulted her in 1993. The Me Too organization Time's Up refused to help Tara Reade due to it being Joe Biden she was accusing. In plenty of interviews, Joe looks and sounded pretty guilty, to be honest. Eighth scandal. Joe allowed in 11 to 15 million illegal aliens with zero background checks. In fact, they let them go after they commit crime. They drew them in with perks like free rent, free transportation. Ninth scandal. The classified documents case. Biden did the exact same thing Donald Trump was on trial for, except he is worse because he wasn't president at the time, but was vice president. He wasn't even in office at the time. 10th scandal. The botched pullout of Afghanistan. Biden left thousands of Americans in Afghanistan. He also abandoned our Afghan allies to be slaughtered by the Taliban. 13 Americans, 180 Afghans died in the botched evacuation of the Kabul airport when a suicide bomber struck. 11th scandal. Sending the Justice Department after a legitimate journalist and using the FBI to go after or stymie journalists and their stories. It is not only wrong, it is stupid and indicative of further moral decay. Despite remaining in the Fed's crosshairs, O'Keefe continues his work exposing progressive liars, thieves, and scam artists. The 12th scandal, the Hunter Biden laptop, which was initially declared as Russian disinformation by 50 intel agents who wrote a letter to the press. Big Tech then hid this away from the U.S. voters. With Joe Biden's connivance, these platforms definitively tipped the scales of the election's results. The 13th scandal. Joe Biden was too weak to stand up to Israeli leadership and make tough decisions regarding Israel's American aid situation. Joe Biden was simply too weak to affect any Mideast policy, and people died because of that. The 14th scandal. Overdose rates increased 15% when Biden took office, and he didn't do anything to help at all. In fact, he helped facilitate the business. 15th scandal. Allegations of bribes. Oversight Committee has uncovered mounting evidence tying Joe Biden to family business schemes. Allegations of fraud. Grassley obtains and releases FBI record alleging VP Biden foreign bribery scheme. The 17th scandal. Joe Biden can't stop lying, and he kept getting caught. He lied about his son Beau dying in Iraq. He lied about going to a funeral of a cop killed on January 6th. Lied about his uncle being eaten by cannibals. Lied about law school. Lied about academic achievements. Lied about everything. 18th scandal. Biden's $42 billion broadband boondoggle. President Joe Biden rolled out his broadband equity, access, and deployment plan, which will be subsidized by $42 billion from the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act of 2021. This was an obscene amount of money to invest in a technology that was obsolete by the time it was built. 19th scandal. Biden ignored warnings Gaza pier would be a boondoggle. The pier costed $230 million, despite warnings from officials that it would not be feasible. The goal was to provide food to feed 1.5 million of Gaza's people for 90 days. It fell short, bringing in enough food to feed about 450,000 people for a month, before shutting down after being washed away by a storm. The 20th scandal. After promising he wouldn't, President Biden pardoned his son Hunter. President Biden pardoned his son Hunter despite repeated pledges that he would not pardon him. Hunter Biden was convicted of gun crimes and pleaded guilty to tax crimes. The 21st scandal. Secret Service says it disposed of cocaine found at White House after a report of infighting. DNA hit. The Secret Service closed its investigation after just 11 days after cocaine was found without interviewing any potential suspects, giving the impression that the agency wasn't interested in learning the facts behind the embarrassing incident. The 22nd scandal. Joe Biden's pardons may be illegitimate. Key decisions made in the final days of the Biden presidency, including using auto pens to issue blanket pardons for the Biden crime family, must be fully examined. There are serious concerns that President Biden lacked the mental capacity to authorize these actions. The 23rd scandal. Joe Biden was caught on tape sniffing and caressing children in very odd and disturbing ways. The press ignored it or tried to explain it away. The 24th scandal. 5 likely choices for who really ran the disastrous Biden White House. House Speaker Mike Johnson dropped a bombshell about January 2024 meeting in which Biden was apparently stunned to learn he had signed an executive order halting the liquefied natural gas exports just weeks earlier. He repeatedly denied even knowing about it. Johnson believed Biden didn't know what he signed, leaving him with the terrifying question, who is running the country? The 25th scandal. Biden's USAID funneled billions into foreign slush funds while American infrastructure crumbled.